So, homeschooling on a budget. Very, very important topic. Your children aren't in school, where scissors and all the things that you didn't really think about initially are provided, and now we're having to pay up. So here are some tips for homeschooling on a budget. Number one is to leverage free online resources. Now, there are tons of free educational websites and platforms offering quality content. I've blogged about these. phoenixhomeed.com is the hub for finding resources, free, paid, whatever. But we have plenty of free online resources, and we even make free online resources. So places like Khan Academy, Coursera, and the number of YouTube channels. So many educational YouTube channels. I will drop links below with some of this stuff. So educational YouTube channels, resources, again, it's all on the website, but utilize those. Another thing to utilize is public libraries. Honestly, I feel like libraries are underrated. They don't get the respect that they deserve, but there's a wealth of resources at local libraries. And it's not just books, but there are educational programs. There are workshops running at the library. And sometimes they even offer access to online tutoring services and other resources. So libraries are great. In the daytime, it's mostly going to be preschool type things going on because children are at school. But generally, there are things going on at the library, whether that's on the weekends or after school. So check in with your local library, get an itinerary to find out what's on during the week, sign up to their newsletter, be involved because the community has a lot to offer. Another one is to buy secondhand materials. We go to Amazon, we head over to Amazon without even thinking if this is something that we could get somewhere else. So buying and exchanging used textbooks. I'm sure there are Facebook groups just for that. If not, I'll probably end up setting one up myself. But if you can get some secondhand textbooks, plenty on eBay. So this is where you have to choose eBay over Amazon. I know it's hard these days because you've got Amazon Prime. It's easy to just click an order and it's there the next day or the same day even. But eBay is where you'd want to be if you're trying to do things on a budget, because you're just going to get so much more for your money. So again, get some used textbooks, exchange books if you can, workbooks, any material you can probably buy in bulk on eBay. And local homeschooling groups, social media groups, so Facebook, Marketplace, all of those places, Gumtree or Craigslist, wherever you are, you're going to be able to find some stuff if you're willing to wait longer, i.e. going to pick them up, as in going to pick them up yourself or waiting for postage, delivery, and not the next day Amazon Prime that you're probably used to. You'll find some good deals. Another one is DIY educational materials. So I have a section where I talk about science activities that you can do at home. I also have a tool called Science is Everywhere, and you can just give it some things that you have in the cupboard. So baking soda, an apple, just things that you have around the house. And you can ask it to turn it into a science experiment, which has been such a fun thing to do because you start to find things and create age-appropriate lessons that wouldn't otherwise have been anything. They wouldn't have been a lesson, that's for sure. And then because of how the tool works, it will give you the learning objective and, outline everything that's beneficial from this brand new science experiment that you've just created. So that's a real plus that you've got there, DIY educational materials. So another one, of course, would be cooking. Cooking is also a fun way to teach math, and it's a life skill. So using that, cooking, baking, kids love it. Sure, your kids love baking. Maybe you're not doing it as much as you could be. This is a message to myself. I should be baking with them a lot more. But cooking is one of those DIY educational things that is definitely something you can do on a budget. When I was young, we actually grew cress. It's one of the cheapest things you can do. So it's a lesson growing the cress and then making that into a cress sandwich. I still remember it to this day. So it was definitely an impactful lesson and moment for me. Another one is printable resources. Printable resources are everywhere now. We are in an age where we just have so much access to worksheets and just things to do. Head over to Pinterest. Pinterest is the GOAT for this sort of stuff. So printable worksheets, puzzles, coloring sheets, all of that stuff is all available online. Of course, if you're printing a lot of stuff, that's going to rack up a bit of a bill after a while. So you do want to think about how you can print them cost effectively. So using draft mode, making sure that you're printing things in black and white. This is going to save you a ton on your toner bills. Or you could actually just get a new printer altogether. So that's a bigger cost up front, but a long-term payoff if you know you're going to be doing lots of printing. And that's what I had to do. Because I don't know about you, but I get a printer and I feel like it's something I buy every year. If I don't buy a printer the right way, I end up having to buy it again. For some reason, printers are just not good. So find a good printer. I'm not sure what the correct word is if I'm using it correctly by saying toner. But there are printers that are really good for just printing things black and white rather than the standard home printer that you'd get. So if you can pick one of those up, of course, I'm going to say head over to eBay and see if you can get that before buying it on Amazon or somewhere else. And you'll be able to save a bunch on printing costs. Another one is group buying for discounts. This is not so much a popular one because you already have to be part of a homeschool co-op or a homeschool group. So I would say head over to Facebook and find these groups, find local groups It doesn't even have to be local. I'm part of a group where we get a discount on Minecraft education and iExcel. So these things exist as subsidiaries exist for homeschoolers. They are harder to find unless you are part of a group where you could, where they're giving you this information. But definitely join these groups and ask around, see what discounts are available. You can always email companies. You can email the companies and ask them if they offer any homeschool discount. You have nothing to lose by doing that. And if they do, they'll say, of course, this is what we have, or educators discount, because schools get discounts on things. And you'll find that people are accommodating to you if you ask. You also get discounts on curriculum packages, educational magazines, and online subscriptions. So you just have to ask, but they are there. Another one would be, it's not really a tip I follow because I don't like the idea of it, but focusing just on core subjects. So I wouldn't say to just focus on core subjects, but to prioritize where you need to spend. If you prioritize spending for materials on those core subjects, so language arts, maths, things that are foundational, and for the less critical subjects, finding all of the free and creative resources for those. So spend where it's going to be most beneficial. Sometimes I'm spending a lot of money on these like tech kind of gadgets, things because I like them and I think they're cool and enriching, but they're not core. They'll be fine without them. They learn how to read, they do their maths, they learn their life skills, they'll be fine. But these are things that I don't have to spend on, but I would always spend on the workbooks and the textbooks and the online, the reading eggs and the programs and things like that. Another one is to take advantage of nature. Nature walks, parks, local trails, these are all free. They're all free and they become science lessons, they become art lessons, they are PE and so much more. And again, if you want to head over to our tool, our lesson generator, you can say, we're going to the park. How could I turn this into a lesson? And this is the age of my child. It turns into a lesson. You can also do things like foraging, botany. There are so many things to be done in nature. This is going to require you to look around and look at your local setting and see what's about, what parks you have. If you're fortunate to live in an area where there's tons of green, then you're going to have some amazing local parks. But definitely check that out. If you drive, it's a chance, it's an excuse to get in your car and drive somewhere far out and just be for the day. Just be for the day. It's something we've started doing a lot more of recent and the kids appreciate it so much more. We just go exploring, we find a new park and we just look around. We just enjoy nature. So yeah, that's another good free tool at your disposal. Your legs. Another one is, okay, I know I keep plugging phoenixhomeed.com, but that's the whole point. That's why I built the place. But use free assessment tools. I recently put up a learning assessment tool, a learning style assessment tool that helps you understand and develop ways to work with your child's learning style. So every child is different. Every child has their strengths and weaknesses. So assessing where they are and also learning how to best accommodate them, that's going to save you a lot on assessment kits. Wholly unnecessary assessment kits. That's it. I think I got one more actually, which is just generally being resourceful with technology. Being resourceful with technology, this is something that we have at our disposal that people didn't have before. And I always say this, I always say it to my children. They're probably tired of hearing this, but I'll say things like, I wish I had this when I was young. I wish we could do this when I was young. They have so much at their disposal. And even if you only have the one computer or tablet in your home, this is where you need to start to schedule time for usage on different things. And I was talking to somebody the other day about how sometimes we just end up as homeschoolers accumulating so many things that we don't end up using, or we use a little bit, but we've got so many other things to do. We're either out the house or doing something else or focusing on something core, that we don't get as much usage out of things as we like. So what you can do, another tool, is to list the things that you have. So we have these robotics kits, we've got different arts and crafts, these watercolors, all of those things. You can tell it, you can list the things that you have, and you can say, I need a schedule. I want to have these things on rotation. I want to be able to do this and incorporate this and still do our literacy and our maths and whatnot. Could you create a schedule? And you can do that. And that will give you a way to make the most of the tech that you have. Again, if you only have the one tablet, and all the different things that you have at your disposal. So yeah, utilize tools. I've mentioned that a few times in different ways. Utilize all the things you have available. So the educational games, these are things to use. The printables, everything that's available, you definitely need to use, and just find a way to make it work around your schedule and your homeschooling style and your child's learning style. That's it. I hope you found this useful. If you did find this video useful, please give a like and a subscribe. It really helps the channel. I'm trying to provide as much useful information as I can, and this helps me grow and get out to more people. So that's it. PhoenixHomeAir.com. I've been Ariel Phoenix. Have a great day.